Good morning, YouTube. It's been a couple of days since we've filmed. We had a rest day in Port Adelaide, which was really nice. We just hung out. We did some shopping. We did some shopping. We found an emergency satellite beacon, which was great. It's a Spot Gen 3. Yeah. So that's making us feel a lot more comfortable for the next stages of our journey, which we're yet to release. And then yesterday we had a ride out of Port Adelaide, which was pleasant. It was a bike trail all the way out, and it was quite nice, but a pretty bland stretch, as it always is riding out of the city. So we didn't think it would be worth shooting, and we thought we'd save ourselves for today.
Yeah. I also had a sad day. I had a sugar crash and a homesickness day, so I just didn't feel like being filmed. So anyway, today's better.
We're back on it.
Yeah.
So right now we're at a small town called Rhynie, which is quite sublimey. It's a little historic town on the way to the Clare Valley, which we're very excited about. So we've just had our morning coffee, and we've just found a couple of rail trails that head all the way into Clare. There's two that link up, and we're really excited about that. The rail trails are brilliant. No cars, and you don't have to worry about looking back all the time. And it also means that because it's an old rail network, the gradient can't exceed a certain point. So they're nice flat, because we are climbing for the day. It's nice casual gradient, which is nice and comfortable on the legs. So we're loving that. Gets us out into more picturesque areas as well. So that's us. We'll take the rail trails into Clare. We'll go to a winery today. We might splash out a little bit. And then we're heading off out the other side of Clare for 50 k's or so to a beautiful wiki campsite that is on a river. So it's going to be a nice day.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. And then the sun's finally started to poke through. The last 3 or 4 days we've had rain, heavy wind, and it's just been a little unpleasant. So yeah. I've still got wet socks from yesterday. We ended up getting smashed by the rain on the ride out and had to ride through some puddles and but while we're down here, I'm stuck in a koala. I'm going to show you, this is our holy grail, our mecca. The public toilet. The humble public toilet. Public toilet for us is a godsend. It's a place for us to find fresh water. We can go to the toilet, we can change our clothes, we can put our baby powder on, and we can escape from the rain. So public toilets, they don't look like much. They're always a little bit stinky, but for us that's heaven. If we stumble into town and we see a nice little public toilet, happy days. All right, so we finished off our coffee. I think let's hit the road and show you a few of the rail trails.
So last night was a really nice night actually. We were at the campsite by ourselves and it was such a pleasant evening with no clouds that we decided to sleep without the top cover on the tent so we could see the stars, which was just amazing. There were just so many. You forget how many stars there are when you're living in the city. It's something that I really miss. I got to see a shooting star, which was cool. So we've just stopped for our coffee and we've got, what is it? Coconut rough chocolate. It's very tasty. And now we're headed on our way to Melrose via Jamestown.
So the ride this morning so far has been relatively flat, but we didn't have any internet reception out there last night and we didn't know that there was a big headwind coming along. So we've been caught in it. Because it's so flat and it's all wheat fields that have been harvested, the wind is just rolling through and you can hear it whistling through the hills. So it's hitting us pretty hard. It's not the most pleasant ride. So I think today is just one of those days you get on the bike sometimes where you just drop down into the drop bars, put your head down and grind it out. So we'll head through Jamestown, we'll treat ourselves at the bakery, and then I think we'll just get to Melrose and maybe have a quiet day tomorrow.
Stop for a little bum break. On these kind of headwind, sidewind days, they're even more important because you don't get as much opportunity to kind of move around in your seat. You kind of just head down, legs turning, and that chafing is starting to happen. I think that mountain over there is where we're headed. Should be about 50 k's away now.
Alright, so we finally made it to a town called Melrose. That was a brutal day. Didn't get easier.
No.
Not at all. It was really hot, maybe 34 degrees, but very dry, pretty windy. And I don't know, the heat just feels different out in South Australia. Feels hotter on the skin.
Yeah.
The wind was pretty brutal today. It was either strong crosswind or headwind, and it seemed like every time we changed direction, the wind changed with us. So that was pretty tough. It was, I think, a 110k day, and it was a slog for sure.
It was.
For sure.
Yeah.
On the back of a couple of big days as well. We're pretty tired. We did find some showgrounds just outside of Melrose, and we're just paying a small amount just to stay in the shearing sheds here, which is pretty cool. So we're on some nice flat ground, a bit of shelter from the elements, and cooking up a storm, which is brilliant.
And there's actually sheep just roaming about.
Actually, sheep. They peek around the corner, and every time they see us, they bolt back the other way. That's cool. So, yeah, I think we're going to eat heaps of food and probably have a pretty early night tonight.
Yeah. Our next plans are kind of a little bit dependent on external circumstances because we're waiting to see what happens with all the COVID stuff, if we can cross the border, because we've got such a long way to travel, like across the Nullarbor till we reach that border. We don't want to do that and then not be able to get through. So there's a lot of things, kind of plans up in the air, and we're just going to make a decision in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Number one plan for sure is definitely for us to be able to ride the Nullarbor.
Yeah.
That was our big plans coming up.
Yeah.
And I think it's doable. It's just COVID dependent. So Port Augusta's the crossroads, and that's where we make the decision. So we've got to commit one way or the other.
Yeah.
Whether we go across to WA through the Nullarbor, cut up through Alice Springs and up to the Northern Territory, or make our way back to New South Wales.
Yeah.
It's all dependent. So yeah, we'll figure it out as we go, but that's not a decision for tonight. So
No.
yeah, we'll get up early and just get out to a nice bush camp tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
right, we're absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
We just dropped down to the ocean again after being up at Horrocks Pass. So the mountain range out there in the distance, we've just dropped down from that. We were travelling so fast, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the mountain range over there is where we're heading. We've finally gotten ourselves out of farming area and into like it feels like what South Australia is meant to look like.
Yeah.
There's so many different colours going on out here. There's like deep yellows and reds and brassy greens and all sorts of stuff going on. It's really, really exciting, and it's making us very, very keen to get out in the Nullarbor and see the Australian nothingness.
Yeah.
Because it's much more spectacular than farmland, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah. It feels like we're in a Wild West movie.
It does
really
kind of
sick.
feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I'm also getting really excited to paint it. I'm already like thinking which layers I need to do first.
The inspiration's there for sure. So Horrocks Pass was not what we expected. It was a bit more of a gravel pit. We were going to spend the night there and just have a short day. But it wasn't much. There wasn't much cover from the sun. It's about 38 today. And it's really hot down here now. We've seen little dust storms popping up every now and then.
Little willy willies.
Yeah, and Libby's having an issue with the headset of her bike. It's just starting to creak, so we thought we'd head into Port Augusta today. We'll find somewhere cool to rest and hopefully find a bike shop there that's operational. Get out of the heat a little bit now, but man, that was so exciting. Whew! Alright, so we're in Port Augusta now. That ended up being a pretty brutal finish to the day. The temperature got super hot down in the plain.
So hot.
It said it was 36, but it felt a lot hotter. It was just sweltering down there and there was not a lot of breeze, so
We were just dripping.
we were dripping. The last 30 Ks was tough.
Yeah.
We got pretty close to heat exhaustion towards the end, but we had plenty of water, so I think we managed that pretty well.
Yeah, I'm glad we were prepared.
We've had a look at the forecast for the next few days, and it's not looking so good for us. So today was 36, 37, tomorrow's 39, and then the day after is 42. So there's just no way that we can ride out in that kind of temperature. It's not really cooling down at night. So plan is that we're going to bunker down in Port Augusta for a couple of days, wait for it to pass. It's going to drop right down again for us. And there's also no bike shops in town, so we might hire a car tomorrow down to Whyalla. There's a bike mechanic down there who can have a look at Libby's bike and make sure everything's working well before we head out to the Nullarbor. And I think we just wait it out. It's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to get like this out in the Nullarbor, so we don't need to prepare ourselves or anything. No. This is just a heat wave that's come through, and we'll just wait it out. So that's it for episode 9. We'll see you in a few days with the next one when we start back up on the bikes again.
Yeah.